probe production. So try to not cut probes to get out a structure. So, for example, your first gateway should be at around like 12 to 14 supply, depending upon like how aggressive you want to be. If you want to be like really aggressive, you can cut like one probe for a little bit and then make a gateway. But it's you can there's like different ways you can do it. But in general, like you just want to have the least amount of downtime on probe production as possible. So you want it to be like a really smooth transition. So you'll be like, okay, so I have 175 minerals. I'll queue up an next probe, and when I get that 150 minerals, I'll make a gateway. And then you just keep making probes until you get basically you want 2 per mineral patch, and 3. Well, you can have 3 per far mineral patch and 2 per close mineral patch. That's the way you want to do it, and then 3 per geyser. So depending on the map, the number of patches there are, you'll have a different amount of workers per base. But yeah, so just make sure you watch how many probes you build and the fact that you don't cut workers. And since you're Protoss, it's really important to get that cybernetic score out. So even if you're not like you want to make a gateway and then a cybernetic score. So you don't want to make 2 gateways before cybercore because zealots are pretty bad unit. Well, they're not bad units, but they're really they're not that useful until you can get charge because they're melee units and they're slow, which means that they can get out microed really easily. If you don't mind, hit T and pause and hit T for me, and it'll go back to the beginning. Let's just sort of zip through everything real quick. Okay. Did you do that, Andrew?
Yes, zip.
Yeah. You went back to the beginning. Okay. Let's take a look at things from his perspective a little bit. So look at what he's doing, the red Protoss. Okay, so let's assume you're not always going to have full vision, but for right now, let's just assume that you'll always know what he's doing. So let's just pretend like you have free vision of his base at all times, just to make a little point. Okay, so let's watch his gateway timing compared to yours, and let's take a look at. We'll take a little look on how that affects your early economy. Alright, so he chronos out, see at 11 supply, like when his pylon finishes, he chronos out probes. Right at that very, like right there, he's getting an econ advantage over you. You cut probes at 10, and you get your gateway. So he's already got a little bit of an econ advantage, which is pretty bad in a mirror matchup because everything's really close. If you're planning to be really aggressive, it would be okay, but in this case, you're not planning on being too aggressive, so it's a bit of a mishap. Like, look at his gateway timing. It's only a little bit behind yours, but he has those 3 extra probes. And then he takes his gas at 15 supply. You take yours at 13, which is a bit early, but I guess since you cut workers, this is about the same time you'd normally take it. You want to try to get gas at 15. Because that's right when you can transition to having sort of you'll have too many guys on minerals if you don't get gas early enough. Plus, you need to get the warp gate upgrade, which costs 50, and you really want to start it like right at that supply is when you can mine, and right when your sidebar finishes, you'll have around 50 or 100 depending upon how early you start your second gas.
Alright, so when the gas is warped in, do I send in just all 3?
Yeah, you want to send in 3 guys right away.
Okay.
I noticed you only have 1 in the beginning. Yeah. Oh, there you go. You put him on. That's good. A little trick you can do is if one of your guys has mined a mineral, but you want to put him on gas anyway, if you right-click on the gas and you hit C, it'll actually he'll return his minerals before going to the gas automatically. Alright, so right now I'm almost at 4 minutes. And just taking a quick look at everything, you have 17 probes and a zealot, and he's got 22 probes. Now as far as infrastructure, building-wise, he's going straight for a Twilight Council, so he's DT rushing. While you, let's see what you've got. You've got your warp gate is at 50 seconds. His is a little bit behind. But if you notice how oh, you're getting a robot, good. So but you notice how his Twilight Council is like almost halfway done already, and he didn't cut any workers. It's because cutting workers to build structures works really well for a small amount of time. So there's basically a small window where building a work like stop not building workers gets you an advantage like attacking units wise. But if you stop, like okay, so it takes a probe about maybe like a minute after it's been made to pay for itself. So that's 50 minerals that you don't spend, and so you keep 50 minerals, and you don't have to wait for that time to pay for itself. So basically, if you want to cut workers, you really want to attack within a window of a minute and a half or 2 minutes, but you cut it a little bit early, and because of that, like you're trying to catch up for the entire game, and his just everything he's doing is a little bit faster. Normally for Protoss, what you want to do is let's just say let's only in PvP like Protoss versus Protoss. You want to go for just always go for a 4-gate. That's basically the most easy thing to do. Make 4 gateways, chrono out your warp gate upgrade, and just power out units. And with that, you should just be able to have more stuff than him, and you'll kill him. At higher levels, you can go for things like Robotech and get Immortals and Colossi and Blink Stalkers. But at a sort of lower level of play, it's not as important because the other player generally doesn't have good enough micro for you know, for higher tiered units to really matter that much.
Can you repeat that again?
The whole thing, or what do you? 4 gateways?
Yeah, like the 4-gate.
Yeah. So what you want to do is okay, with 4 gates, the 1 gas 4 gate is basically the staple in PvP, even at the top level of play. So you only want to get 1 gas, and you want to stop making workers after 20, because 19 is approximately the best saturation you're going to get, the most efficient saturation you're going to get off minerals, and then you're going to want to have what did I say, 19? No, like 17 or something like that, or 16. So like 2 per patch, and then 3 on the gas, and then you want to have one probe making a proxy pylon somewhere, so you can warp in with a forward rally point. So what you do is you sacrifice, like you're gonna cut workers at 20, and you're gonna sacrifice like later game, like mid game economy, in order to get like a really good warp gate timing, because you want to be aggressive. Because the most important thing in StarCraft is to have a plan. If you sort of walk into a game and just you're like, I think I'll just, do my thing, like I'll just mess around with stuff, it gets a little bit iffy. But if you have a plan, I want to be aggressive with a lot of early units, you can plan out a build and then just execute it, and you can react. Like it's not as important to react in the lower levels of gameplay, because it's just more important to have your early game be really crisp. So having that early game plan is really good. Like, what were you trying to go for in this game? What did you walk into it with? Like, what were you thinking? Like, oh, this is a PvP. I wonder what I should do. Like, what was in your mind?
I just, like, one thing was just get the robotics out early.
Did you have a reason for that?
To get an observer out.
Do you want to try to play a bit more? Okay, going for Robotech generally is more defensive. The observer lets you react really well to what your opponent's doing, because you can see what they're going to do with the vision. And also it gets you scout, like you can scout for DTs. Like if he has DTs, you're going to be safe. But it delays your warp gate unit production. So you're going to have less stalkers, less zealots. So you're going to have to play more defensive to make up for that. Do you want to play more defensive or offensive? Like in general, what sort of suits you better?
I guess I kind of want to be more offensive.
All right, then definitely go for 4 gateways. Just don't make any other buildings besides 4 gateways, and just try your bet. Like, don't even worry about scouting what he's doing, unless of course you get cheese. Like for example, if he cannon rushes you, then the forward gate is definitely going to lose to a cannon rush if you don't scout and react accordingly. But in general, it's just having the set build down is going to be a lot better than if you sort of do make stuff, you know? Because with 4 gateways, you get constant unit production, and even with a little bit of poor macro, your minerals and gas shouldn't fluctuate too highly. So remember, just 1 gas and 20 probes. And one of the most important things about being aggressive as Protoss is that when you need to send a probe out early and make a pylon somewhere outside of his base, so that way you can warp in with that forward rally, because the warp gate mechanic is really powerful offensively. And in fact, playing defensively as a Protoss is actually a disadvantage. Except for the fact that you can use force fields on smaller ramp areas, but that's only off 1 base. So yeah, do you want to jump into the next replay?
Okay.
Alright, give me just a couple seconds.